What's up, guys? What's up? All right, how's it going? How's it going? Good to have you all here. Let's get the chat bumping. Let me go ahead and start to, I'm going to send out a couple messages and we'll go ahead and kick things off. But I mean, all I'm going to say is if you showed up last week, sheesh. Come on now. If you showed up last week, and you took action, obviously that matters. I don't know, man. I think you got it. You got it in the bag. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go over a couple things here with y'all. Let's dive in. Let's dive in here in a couple minutes. While we're waiting for everyone to show up. I know it's late for some of you. So, or it's really early for some of you. I think I see 4 a.m. for Muhammad. Let's go. 4 a.m. Those are. Did you stay up or did you get up early? That's my question for you. What's up, Michael? What it do? What it do? Seattle in the house. I was not live this morning. Hey, Mike, do you trade futures? Because I can see you being in my future. This guy. Dylan, man. Dylan always cracking me up. I see Seattle. What's up, Xavier? Fernando, what's good, brother? Looking good, bro. That soul is yours. I mean, I hope so. We've been working. ¿Qué tal, Ezequiel? ¿Cómo estás? What's good, guys? Carlos. Seth's in the house. Park City plugged in. I get up at 4 a.m. every day. Okay. All right, man. You're a beast. I do not. Fort Worth in the house. Nando tapping in. What's good, my boy? Dylan, I might have to take that one. Yeah, we had a good US30 trade this morning. I wasn't live this morning, but I did send out that idea. Should have made up for it. 3R for the day. We got Kev in here. David Pincheira, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos, Argentina? Yeah, before we kick things off here, we'll start in 2 minutes. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. I will go ahead and answer them. Whether it's, directly analysis related, psychology, could be process oriented, whatever. I actually have a cool video for you guys that I'll upload tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow for y'all. So be on the lookout. Make sure you have do the subscription likes and all that good stuff. Wisconsin with thunderstorms in the house for real. It's intense. Bitcoin 100K. We'll talk about it. I see Miami's plugged in. Okay. Jesus, what's good? What's your take on gold? I'm gonna show you. Okay. All right. About to be 5 minutes after the hour. I like to give people a little bit of time, to show up, ask a couple questions, kind of catch the vibe here in the chat, and everything like that. But Mohammed, where are you in the world right now? 4 a.m. for you. That means that 9 hours ahead. You got to be somewhere in like Egypt or the Middle East or something. Qatar. That's where we're at. Qatar, one of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen. Easily one of the most hospitable countries, and so clean. Just the vibes. Amazing. Nance and I definitely had a blast out there. Too short though, right? We weren't there for long enough. Oh, look at that. Euro odd already giving off an alert here. Okay, let's see. I'll go into that here. We might kick things off there, actually. Okay, so let's dive into it, guys. So first of all, welcome. Every Monday I do these streams. We'll say a grand majority of Mondays I do these streams, just depending on travel. If I'm not traveling, then yeah, basically we're doing the stream. But yeah, we're here to have a good time, go over some markets, break down a couple things. We go over basically most markets here. We'll go over crypto, indices, some stocks, currencies, metals, energy, oil. Yeah, basically almost nothing is left uncovered. I don't go into like the ETFs and stuff like that too much, but we did get some news today, right? ETFs allegedly gonna go through next Tuesday, so that was a good excuse to get these markets pumping. And I think we're going to start there. I think we're going to start with crypto. I'm going to go over, actually, I'm going to start with Euro Odd because I do have a setup. It's just sitting in front of me right now, just screaming my name. So I am going to go into that. I will go into what did we talk about last week with Bitcoin and where are we now? Spoilers, things went really well. And so, you know, good stuff around here. So let's dive into things, all right? Now let me go ahead and let me switch up the screens here for you guys. And if you have any specific any type of asset you want me to look at, then just let your boy know, and we'll dive into it. So let's see, fit the screen. That should be good to go. And let's see, is my camera gonna show up here? That's the question. Will this show up? All right. I don't think so. That's okay. So, all right. So we have Euro Odd. Just got to this zone that I was really interested in seeing here. I think we went over this on this stream at some point, maybe last week or the week before that, possibly. I'm pretty sure actually. So, but why would AUD news go off? Is there something happening? Is there news? So Euro Odd. The euro and the Australian dollar right now is actually a valid time to trade this. So it does make sense to take a trade considering that we are in hot times for the Australian market. So it is a valid time. There is volume here, so it could be a good setup. Now, if we're looking at this just from a one-on-one, solely looking at this currency on its own, I mean, we had a liquidity sweep clearing out retail sellers. After this happens, you guys know this takes out sellers, lures in buyers, and the market just quickly starts to work its way down. Now, what I also see here, as we're looking at the market, we also have liquidity. So overall, big picture, market has been bearish for quite a while. So you guys can see that. Kind of started to bottom out here in July, the 8th, the 11th, the 14th of July, give or take. And then right now, the last few days, we've worked our way up. So Friday still, but then, the first Sunday, the first Asian session, now in the second, we've been bullish. So this week has been a bit more bullish. However, let's get into the details. So we have a good idea of what's happening. Big picture, we're bearish in the larger scheme of things. So I like sells just because we are flowing with the trend. So I think it's been really transparent, and when you guys see the market squeeze and move sideways so much, this really will help you know that there is movement coming. So predictable movements. Right now, looks like AUD has lost quite a bit of strength considering Euro Odd has been booming these last couple hours. So some pretty strong movement. We did clear up the equal highs that were set here. It's the 2nd and 3rd of July. So now we are finally in this area where I do think we could see sells for Euro Odd. Now, and you guys let me know in the chat, but what do you think I'm about to do next? So now that we looked at Euro AUD, is this ready to sell? Should I just sell it now? Are we looking for a different type of idea? Should I what happens next? So for those of you that have been here trading with me for a minute, you'll know that, what I want to know now is, what correlates with Euro AUD? What are the correlating pairs for something like this? And really what moves right now is going to be either GBP AUD or Euro NZD, right? And this is because these are correlated. These kind of move together. They're kind of like buddies. So let's look at Euro NZD. And let's see, we don't need that. Let's see what Euro NZD looks like. So these are totally different charts. Not even, I mean, we're just looking at completely different things. So, okay, nothing to deal with there. So Euro AUD, let's get back over here. So, okay, so Euro AUD has been slower on the way up. What about GBP AUD? Same thing, GBP AUD and Euro NZD actually look a lot similar. So, you know what? Euro AUD kind of looks like it's in a world of its own. So I do want to take a position here, which is awesome. We don't actually get live setups often here. So what you can see is that we had a nice 34, 35 pip sweep of these equal highs of this resistance. Then the market starts to work its way down. So this right on the open honestly would have been a pretty good setup. The thing that we want to keep in mind now is the risk to reward factor. Where do we really want to get into this? Because at the end of the day, why are you getting into the market? Because you're putting money at risk to make a certain amount. So what makes this worth it is truly the question. What makes this trade worth it? So as we keep this in mind, I want to take a setup that will give me a strong enough reward for the risk that I could take here. So let's say I'm going to give myself a couple pips here of breathing room. Well, where do I think this can go, and will this be worth my time? These are the key questions we want to keep in mind. So let me go ahead and move this over again. So here, if I'm looking at a target, which means that this is where I think the market can go to, what are usual targets that we can go for? Right? We like to look for imbalances. We can look for liquidity, etc. So we do have liquidity all the way down here. So there's retail buyers sitting down here. Could the market get all the way down here? It's definitely possible. So, okay, this is a great exit, I think, but not everyone's going to trade like this. Not everyone's going to hold a big move like this, because the market's going to have to go in our favor a good 100 plus pips, 110, 120 pips. Okay, but would it make sense for the market to go somewhere else as well? Could we take this a little shorter? And look at the liquidity, the trend line liquidity that builds up here as well. So looking at something like this, I wouldn't be shocked if we at least get over here. This to me looks kind of like a no-brainer. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get imbalance fills or even this liquidity sweep. So even if the market, I want us to at least get a good +2 risk reward. And it definitely looks like we can get that with the trade like this. So overall, I think this would be the ultimate target. If we start to lose momentum in this imbalance or clearing this liquidity, then definitely do yourself a favor and obviously pay yourself. But at the end of the day, we have to make a decision. Do we want to take a trade now? Do we think that this could go higher and trigger us in somewhere else? So we have already seen a little bit of a push to the upside here before the market dropped about a 20 pip push up, then the market comes down. So we already came up to this zone and started to lose a little bit of momentum. Do we think it can come back up to here? Or if we do take a trade over here, is it going to be worth it? If we take a trade lower than we are right now. ¿Qué tal, qué tal? Saludos, Argentina. What's up, Marco? Daniel? Yeah, you guys got it. Correlated pairs. So I think looking at where we have resistance over here, I'm okay with taking an entry a little bit lower, like right there. So let's see if we can get up to this area and take a position. Now, something else you could do. I don't do this very often. It's just not really my cup of tea. But we do have the ability to take multiple positions. So assuming whatever your risk might be, you could cut your positions in order to make, you can take a smaller position now, a half a position now, whatever amount you want, and then you still have some room to take another trade if it does get to the zone that we're interested in. So for me, you know, if we take a trade, let's say where the market's at now, then to make over a 2.4 risk reward, the market does need to drop quite a bit. So I don't necessarily want to do that. I'm not accustomed to do something like that. So I want to get a good entry, quality risk reward here. If the market just targets this trendline liquidity, then we're still getting over 2 risk reward. So I'm more than happy to take a setup, something like this. So we're only about 10 pips away. It's an Asian market setup. We have London session next. So there's no reason why it couldn't happen. And my mindset also is the following. We are abundant. So there is no reason to have that scarcity mindset. If, let's just say, the market doesn't get to this level, then is it the end of the world? Not at all, right? We're good. So this is an idea that I like. You know, this is a textbook setup for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share this for all of you here, and yeah, which is cool. You guys, I mean, I'm doing this live stream, but what I also am doing at the exact same time is this is a setup I'm actually sending out to our entire community. So all the members in our community are also getting this through our app. So you guys are getting a little treat today, which is super cool. So yeah, as you guys can tell, this is a bearish idea. I'm looking for, honestly, an entry really anywhere from like 1.61, we can say 1.6142.5 to 1.6147.5. Kind of that little 5 pip range is what I'm looking at. I like what I'm seeing here. So 1.6142.5 to 1 second. There we go. To 1. What do we got? 6147.5. And again, I'm gonna set, so my stop is basically 35 pips, give or take. So 1.6180. That's my stop here. And everyone here, you know, you guys are gonna trade a little bit different. But if we're gonna go for like a 1-to-1 risk reward, then, you know, that's not really how I trade. That's not how I like to approach the market. But the key to really crushing it here is to have a plan that you can follow consistently. That's the key. Do what you can, like, have your plan be something that you can actually do. Otherwise, all you have is something that would be really cool in theory, but not but not actually something that you're going to do. And what's the point of something like that, right? What's the point of just having a theoretical setup? There really is none. So so yeah, so right now you guys are getting nice little play right here. All right, so we got that. I'm typing this out here, so appreciate the patience, guys. Any questions regarding this this setup here, the analysis, the idea? You guys go ahead and, yeah, just let me know. Let me know what you're thinking about what we have here in play. Are there reasons why you wouldn't? Is there some sort of reason that maybe this is not your type of trade at all, and you're like, you know what, man, I don't want nothing to do with this Euro AUD nonsense. This looks like a terrible trade. So you guys let me know, all right? So Euro AUD, realistically, this could be a market. Market execution sell, to be honest, it's like right there. So if you guys would rather just be in there, then do your thing. All right, so here we go. All right, let's see. Confirming that everything looks clean. Sweet. Let's do it. Okay, so I sent the idea officially. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this. Let's see if this triggers up here. So what I'm gonna do right now is the following. I'm gonna actually split my idea. And so I'm gonna market execute right now for a sell. And then with about half of my intended risk here. So let's see, we got sell, there we go, stop up here. All right, where am I at? Okay, cool. So I'm in there. Let's see what happens here. Market execution. I'm in there, guys. Let's see if we have a good time. All right, so now moving forward here, we can move on. This is all set in stone. So if this reacts here, give or take, right around, once we have a good reaction, like I want to get at least like a 30, 35 pip reaction, then at that point, I'll go ahead and move my stop to break even. So cool, you're odd, we're there. So you see, okay, so I got a couple things here. Let's say, why pay for signals when you can tune in Sundays and Mondays with the dog mic? ¿Cómo encuentras tu Darwin? Solo pone SLCF y ahí lo podrías encontrar. You see where the market pulls back? There are triple highs sitting at 1.6160. You're saying right here? Oh, okay. I see what you see. Oh yeah, this could be targeted. This is a possibility. You're not wrong. Right there. There's a little bit of liquidity here. Huh. That would be interesting. Let's see if that exists on multiple setups here. So let's see. Yeah, so you're talking about something like this. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it does. So that could be targeted for sure. That's a really, really good, that's a good take. I like it. You could, let's say you're not sure if it would. You could take an entry now. If you think, you know what, maybe this pulls back a little bit deeper, then you have a little bit of money to work with up here. So I like your perspective for sure. I like your perspective. I think it's worth taking a look at. Let's see what happens. Can that be a reason for someone to take? Yeah, it could, definitely. So someone asked me how to find my Darwin. So basically a Darwin is like an index. And so you can, one of the things that I started doing last year, right around when my forex funds went down, just looking at other types of income streams for traders. And one of the things that I found was basically how to building a track record that ultimately sets you up to become an investable trader. And so what he was asking me in Spanish here, Kairos, was how to find mine, because it's just a track record, right? And then that's where I actually placed #1 in the world in January. So yeah, I think in my description I might have the Darwin X thingy. But yeah, if you guys wanted to find mine on the leaderboard, I'm actually like the #3 with most allocation right now, in the history with them. But yeah, it's a really cool. It's not a prop firm. It's nothing like that. It's not like, the goal is not like, oh, simulated money or anything. It's the place is kind of like it's like a talent pool for traders, So I'll probably do a video on that sometime in here for you guys to check out. But yeah, it's really cool. It's like you just build a track record. Once you're good enough, then just, you know, people can invest into you. And obviously it's like being your own hedge fund basically. So yeah, it's been pretty dope. And I think that's something that we need. You know, like the space needs more transparency. The space needs, you know, how much easier is there for you to learn than from someone that's like, oh yeah, like here's literally my track record. So you either, yeah, listen to me, I know what I'm doing, or don't, because I don't, because it speaks for itself. So just something I just think is pretty interesting. So all right, let's see here. I gotta get all right. So now we have officially triggered the entry. All right, perfect. All right, I have to grab my phone for a sec to set everything up. Let's see here. Let me confirm. This camera's looking good. All right, we're good. But the coolest thing, honestly, I think about them is not just that you can basically, you know, manage your own capital or manage other capital, but they have a risk engine. So like they basically learn their whatever software learns your trading behavior, and they have a risk motor that like automatically adjusts your trading. Like when you take a trade, it'll adjust how it actually sends to these other accounts based on your behavior, because their goal is to, you know, protect investors. So it's really cool, man. It's super cool. I really do have to dive into it on a video at some point, because it's obviously, one, it's a long-term thing, but two, it's just so professional, and it's looking out for you in your psychology as a trader, but also the mindset of an investor, right? But let's get to something a little bit different here. All right. So who here remembers where was Bitcoin at when we talked about this last week, and what did I say? What was my projection about the market? Did I have any type of conviction? Who was here yesterday? Or not yesterday, last Monday. Because I did make a couple bold claims here. So let me know in the chat. I'm gonna pull this up here, because we were a big chunk of what we went over was metals, but then we also went over crypto. So let me see if I can pull this up for you guys, because there was a very specific approach that we had here for the market. So let me see if I can share this over here. All right, so let's pull this up. Now this was last week's stream, and basically, right, we were sitting at right around 56,400, 500, whatever. If you're on Sunday's stream, then you actually had an even better entry, which those are the ones that are doing Spanish for, you know, here publicly. And so we were going over this, and basically I was saying, guys, we're going to have a couple options. Either we're going to pop, I really had high conviction with that, which is why I matched it with putting in a good lump of money into different coins. But yeah, we were seeing this, and this is a setup model that I've actually taught on these streams, and definitely for the members. It's something that I've gone over, which is what I just call it my shakeout setup. But basically, we had this going here, and guys, I mean, 56,000, just where I clicked here on this 56,440, just on there, I mean, 56,440. Spanish channel had a better entry, or not the channel, but the stream. This is basically 15% in a week, and that's just Bitcoin. There's definitely other opportunities. So, guys, you weathered the storm. There was a lot of fear, FUD for sure. You know, there was a lot of, it's over, it's coming down. And here's the thing, That's not like a bad thing. You just need to be able to manage your emotions. And transparently, I wouldn't have gotten into any buys if I didn't have a setup. When the market was crashing, so for example, for me, it wasn't when the market started to go below, I didn't have an entry. When it hit 55 and when it went into the 54s, that wasn't a sign for me to get in yet. Even when it went under 54K and into 53 and change, there wasn't like I should buy right now. In terms of, definitely not with leverage, but portfolio, I was like, okay, hold on, let's see how this develops. And what this ended up doing was exactly what one of my setups looked like. And basically, this ends up doing a break and retest, and the market perfectly does the break and retest, and that just lures in tons of sellers. Now, the difference between what break and retest means to me and means to other people is night and day. While people saw the break and the retest and they started to take sells, my mindset, the narrative that I take on this is that this is a typical textbook retail pattern. So once we saw this type of engulfing, it lured in sellers, filled some imbalance right around here. This was the Sunday night stream. We got to see it do the engulfing pattern. This lures in maximum amount of sellers. This had already taken out so many buyers. That was my sign for an entry. Now, transparently, when it popped up and came right back down right away, was losing a little bit of confidence there, but that was the setup model, right? And for portfolio, I was definitely cool with it. For leverage, I had my stops under here, and it's been cooking ever since. So, nice bullish last 7 days. Now the question becomes, will this hold? And a massive thing that we just got was this, is that we have right now, we're seeing a shift in momentum because we had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and right now we are seeing that shift in structure. 8-hour candle closed above. So this means that we had this last session close above right now. That's good news. All right, price broke above here just a few hours ago. So at the moment, if we look at where we had our previous high, we cleared these highs, and we've been up here for 1, 2, 3. This is about our 4th hour that we're trading above those previous highs. That's good. This wasn't an immediate pump and just loses momentum. So we are seeing buyers willing and sustaining. Buys and sells are happening above those previous highs for 4 hours now. This is good for price action. This is where I start to consider this stable. Now, because we're looking at higher time frames, the longer the market wants to trade up here, the better it is for the overall direction of the market. So if we can trade here for the rest of the session, for the rest of the day, we stay above these previous highs. So if we can stay above 63,750 and we just start trading up here, we can just keep going higher. That's amazing for just the overall direction of our portfolio, of the market as a whole, which is fantastic. So as you guys can see, right, awesome. So you guys know we're things are going in the right place. So this is what we want. Now, if let's say you're like, oh man, Mike, I just wasn't confident. I didn't want to take any positions. I wanted to kind of just see where the market was going to go. That's fine. Because guys, just like we've seen it before, we're probably going to get a pullback under 60K again. I wouldn't be totally shocked if we see this happen, if we see it come down again. So I wouldn't say, oh, it's over. Like, it's bullish. It's like everyone, this is a one-way ticket to the moon. No. We're going to experience pullbacks again. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I can almost guarantee you we'll go under 68K. And it'll probably be relatively brief this time, though. But we are seeing quite a bit of movement, and again, I wouldn't be shocked if we get into 60, 59, 58s, and then for another move. Now, will it happen right now? I don't know yet. I don't know if this is going to slow down and then we'll see the move down. So what I do want to do for you guys is I do want to look at the total market caps before we go and look at indices and metals and stuff like that. We'll get into that stuff and we'll look at some stocks because a few of the stocks that we've been talking about here are also doing really well. So yeah, life's good. So okay, like you guys saw, that we're here. I said it was gonna pop. Obviously, sometimes I'm wrong, and I will be, but the risk reward is always in our favor. So Abel asked, is buying crypto and trading it two different things? Yeah, definitely. So let me briefly explain the difference between these two things. So there's a couple of reasons why it's very different. When you are just buying crypto, let's say you're building a portfolio you're getting tokens, right? So when you spend $100 on Bitcoin, you're getting a small percentage worth of the Bitcoin tokens. So whatever $100 would get you when it's priced at almost 65,000. So a very, very, very small amount of Bitcoin, 0.0000 whatever of Bitcoin. Let's say that you wanted some SOL. All right, you're like, oh, you know what, man, I want some SOL right now. It's chilling at like 160-ish. So, okay, let's say you're like, I want one SOL. So then you would have ownership over the token. Now, the cool thing here is there is no stop loss when you're buying the tokens, right? You don't, like if this crashes down again, which it probably will get under 145 again. So when this happens, you're not losing anything. It just has lost value in that moment. So you only lose or make money when you sell it back and you get the dollars back for what it's worth. So that's the one thing, right? The mindset of an investor is very different from the mindset of a trader. So you have to understand what's your purpose behind your investment? Do you have a timeline? Do you have certain returns that you're looking for? Is there certain, technicals that you want to see before you sell or before you buy? But the good thing with the portfolio is it's not so much dependent on the precision. Of course, when you get in matters, but you have a lot more wiggle room. You can afford to, not snipe it at extreme 5 minute, 1 minute, 15-second time frames. You can take a, bigger look at the market, have a general idea of what's happening. Like, you know what? Okay, instead of having to get it down to the dollar, if you're within a couple $100 with something like Bitcoin, then you're in good hands. So definitely different things. And with trading, leverage is everything. So your purchasing power is so much stronger depending on how much you give yourself. So if you're trading futures, you have complete control over how much leverage, which means like, what's the multiplier on your money? So for example, I'll give you guys an example. Let's say you wanted to buy Bitcoin right now, which is not what I'm saying. Definitely not what I would do. And you said, you know what, but I want to get some Bitcoin, but I don't want the Bitcoin. I don't want the tokens. I want to trade in the market. And I want to have a little bit more buying power. So let's say you have a 3x leverage. That means that if you risk $100, so your money just is multiplied by 3. So if the market goes up 5%, then instead of you making 5%, you're actually making 15. But it's also the other way around. If the market goes down 5%, then your account also, or the amount that you risked is also down. It's not down 5%, it's down 15% because you chose a 3x leverage. So it also just totally depends on how you're trading it. Futures, if you're trading it with like MetaTrader or whatever platforms, it's going to be totally different. But yeah, trading has to do more with choosing the direction and then how many lots or contracts do you have open. Whereas investing or just getting the tokens itself, it's like you now have X amount of tokens, and depending on how much they go up or down in value, then that's how much your portfolio will do. So just keeping it for those of you that are kind of, getting immersed into Excuse me. Nancy's cooking up in here. Saw him hit me. Probably jalapeno somewhere. Maybe onions. If I start crying, it's tears of joy for the market. But yeah, let's get back at the market here. So, okay. Let's take a look at, we're going to get into indices and metals, guys, and your favorite, whatever you trade. We'll take a look at that. So have patience with me, my good people. I want to make sure, like the reason I really do want to make sure we're week by week having a good pulse in the market here in the crypto space is because there's moments where like you really do have to dial in and you want to make sure that the moment isn't just going past you. You know, there are certain markets, certain companies, etc., where it genuinely matters so much if you're doing what you need to do in the moment. And if you just sleep on it, then it is what it is. It's like when I saw Bitcoin for the first time in 2012, that I'm never going to be able to go back and make that move. Even just buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. I would have had like a Bitcoin basically. I would have had almost 10. I would have had 10. But I didn't. And I bought dumb things instead. So, okay. Now, let's look into the total market cap. This will give us a better idea of the overall direction of the market. And then from here, we can move on. So, with the total market cap here, guys, right now, we're taking care of a whole bunch of liquidity. I drew out this liquidity here last Monday. We had retail sellers just, selling up a storm in here. We finally cleared this. And, it's interesting because it actually rejected it a little bit and then started to really run. So this has finally liquidated tons and tons of sellers. And we're kind of in this area right here. So we might be seeing some reversals from where we're at right now. There's kind of a big push before it drops. I wouldn't be totally shocked if we start to see some reversals around this area. Total 2 took care of business as well. And total 3, which is just for the alts. This one's really pushing. So alts have actually been above their previous high for a lot longer than Bitcoin and ETH has. So yeah, for the last give or take 10 hours or so, the alts market has cracked a high. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's kind of starting to feel like it's alt season finally. It's been about 10 hours worth of being above the high, where Bitcoin's only been above the previous highs for a couple hours. So pretty interesting. Starting to see this switch up a little bit. Now the one thing and what kind of helps to see where we're like, okay, is it that time? Is it really the time where the alts start to take over, etc.? And it kind of comes down to Bitcoin dominance. So if I'm looking at this here and I'm looking at the overall direction of Bitcoin on the daily, technically we're still bullish, but it's having a really hard time. It really is having a hard time staying above. So I'm interested to see it. But either way, I'm buying alts regardless. But okay, that's enough on crypto, Bitcoin, etc. A lot of some of my favorite tokens are moving along super well. Jupiter, I've been talking about here since the launch, and we talked about this when it was in between 40 and 50 cents. So even right now, it's still basically 2x from there. You guys, some of you may know, like, I got into the craziest leverage position here, like Super Bowl Sunday, at like, I think 3 cents maybe, a little under 2, something like that. I think it was the Super Bowl on the 11th or I think it might have been the 11th. But anyways, yeah, so right around like 3 cents, give or take, and leverage was nuts. So everyone collectively pray that we get back to these highs. Because, I kind of round trip this one. But anyways, yeah, memes crushing it. Brett is on fire. the merger between those some of the top AI coins got some fetch here around these areas. So this is moving pretty decent, about 20%. Atom, which is staking really well, I think at about 12% in staking, has recovered super nicely the last, I mean, dang, this really, if y'all had took this one at some point, almost about 30% that Atom has moved in the last 10 days. Fire. So, I mean, yeah, this is cooking. Markets are definitely moving. Anyways, besides the point, let's look at what it is that we can expect for the rest of the week. All right, what can we be looking at for the rest of the week? Indices have been extremely bullish. We took this US 30 buy today and got to exit right there. The exit on this one was nasty exit for today's setup. The entry was here, right there. And the exit was right over here. So, about a 50-point risk. It was a little tricky because the market pumped up first, came crashing down, survived this by just a little bit. I've been adding a few extra points to my setups with indices because NAS and S&P, if they are very much bearish or really pulling first, then sometimes these indices they're not holding this down perfectly well. So rejected, still had some room for it to go higher, so I didn't consider this the mitigation. It came down. Honestly, this is partially luck, to be honest. I mean, experience, because I did have a little bit of a wiggle room on purpose, but I mean, come on, it was like 2-3 points that I didn't get stopped out by. So thank God. And then the market came on up here. So everyone here, just like those of you that just got the idea on your app on Blaze, then you guys got this one earlier. So anybody that it's on right now, any of you guys take this idea? All right, cool, sweet. We'll see. Anyways, so it came down, and then actually, I didn't even notice it actually ended up pumping up again. Oh, sweet. So this mitigated a second time. This would have been a nice entry too. Here you guys saw it spike down, clears out tons of buyers, then gives higher highs on the smaller time frame. So you see it close this big sell with the massive open and the buy here. So a couple different ideas. Now with indices though, overall, US 30 has been on a rampage. You guys can see it. It is successfully clearing previous all-time highs, and it's 3 days in a row. I guess technically 2 days in a row, making new all-time highs. It is moving aggressively. Now, there's a reason, right? There's a reason that I'm not looking to take buys for super long positions, and we are in discovery. We are at all-time highs. At some point, this thing could just kind of get over it and move on. So I'm not necessarily looking to force the market here into super long ideas. If we get some pullbacks, then maybe we can afford to let some of these run. But for now, because we are very, very, very close to those all-time highs, I'm chilling. So another idea that I have here, this one is pretty textbook. I mean, and there's two, so I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with first. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how this goes on. But NAS has done the following. So NASDAQ has been extremely bullish for, obviously, you guys know, forever. It's just has just been insane, right? Just absolutely insane. Think about this. NASDAQ is up almost 50% since just last November. Like, what? So as NAS has been, making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs. We finally saw a shift in momentum on the 1 hour. Higher high, higher low, higher high, and we finally got some lower lows. So once we got below these lows here, we didn't just get below there, but we stayed below these levels, below this price for a whole day. So we really saw a price lock in, and this to me is giving us the first signs of a shift in momentum. Does this mean that we're doomed and NAS is now going to drop forever? Not necessarily. I wouldn't take it that far. I think that we could see some imbalances get filled maybe. So we could get a perspective where the market could pull back somewhere in between the 78886, and it could come and just kind of fill this imbalance over here. This I could see maybe play off of this higher time frame structure. So 20,000, we'll say 20,100. I could see something like this, right? Something over here. Yeah, maybe we get something over here. So cool. To say like this is it, it's the high of the year or the next couple of years, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case yet. But 20,100 looks like a pretty good play. Now, either way, things that are happening here that we can be aware of, well, you can look at where we saw previous levels of support, basically equal lows here. So there is a reason, there's motive for price to go a little bit lower. So now, what's the incentive behind entries here? So as we're looking at the market and these indices, you saw that NAS, this thing just popped off. Really, really went off here. Like, sheesh. And then it started to lose momentum and just keep falling down. So we saw so much of a drop here. So there are positions opened here. And it's simple. The big players in the market, they want their money back. They're not going to leave. They're not going to have losing positions open forever, nor are they going to take losses because they don't have to. So in this situation, if we were to go back up to here, then I'm definitely looking forward to a sell. And I mean, we've seen strong levels of resistance here. So in between, like just in between the open and 886, these are great areas for sell, and we can take this down. So at the same time, I mean, look at this, guys. Right now, NAS left some liquidity today, Friday. So that looks good. This buy setup, now we had a big spike here on Friday before the market rallied and continued on up. I'm curious to see what happens here, because when the market does spike down, it plays right into the lows from the past. So I'm not in love with any type of buys in here. It's not my favorite, especially considering it made equal lows. So I think I'm going to pass on the buys, and I'm definitely focused on the sells in this zone. Now, of course, we have S&P as well. Is that a tornado warning?
Yeah.
Bruh. All right. Well, I guess tornadoes are... Is that the warning or the watch? Is there a difference? All right, whatever. You know, it'll be all right. So for the buys look much better with S&P, to be honest. So we have liquidity here. That thing is loud. Sweeps the lows, liquidity, goes off. This is making higher highs, so it's moving the market pretty well, honestly. So S&P buys look much better. Wouldn't really force any sells. Yeah, I like the structure. I think this is a clean setup. So NAS, so we got NAS for the sells, and we got S&P for the buys. So these look clean. I have alerts on both sides for the buys on S&P, and I have alerts for the sell on NASDAQ. Which one happens first? I don't know. Can y'all hear it? Yeah, I think you guys can hear that, huh? Um, so, hopefully this doesn't turn out like Houston. Houston got all that crazy weather, losing power. We're just not going to participate in any of that. So, these are the key setups for now. S&P, NAS, US 30, it did its thing, but right now, I'm not looking for too much here yet. I want to see US 30 develop a little bit more. Let's give it a little bit of space. It did its thing. We got to get some of this. Only way I'm trading US 30 is if we have just brand new price action tomorrow and it gives us totally different setups. But that would really be it. Quick update, guys, on Euro AUD. Just super quick while we're here. We took a nice entry here. Our entry actually ended up dropping really well. It dropped like 16 pips instantly and then came right back up. So either way, I'm not moving stop loss or anything yet. I'm still just letting this bad boy just do its thing. Let's see where this goes. Mike, run. Siva had to B&B to Dallas because of the Houston craziness. Oh, for real? That's wild. Hope they're good. Yeah, you guys can hear it. Yeah, we sure can. Sounds like the apocalypse. I thought it was like a motorcycle first. I was like, yo, someone's zipping. All right, so, okay, cool. We'll leave this one. We'll manage it. Now, let's look at metals. Metals, man, I'm a little salty. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little salty. With metals, I was waiting for buys. We went over this one on Friday's New York session stream, and not silver, but gold. And gold played off of our zone. It tapped the zone. We've been ping-ponging this thing like crazy. So the sell, and then it gave us a textbook buy setup. But it just didn't go low enough for me to get the risk to reward that I wanted. And that's fine. You can't really get them all. And then same thing with NZD USD. That was kind of basically the same trade. So, but yeah, this came into the zone, closed off the sell. Off it went. So pretty good move. This is a little too high for my liking, but the risk reward, had it been a perfect exit, would have been over a 3R. I was looking for an entry a little lower here. So, yeah, for the most part, I like to have my setups below a 786. That way, I just have a good risk to reward, and it's worth. I can protect my money a little bit more effectively, and still give it some breathing room. So, I didn't get it this time, and that's fine. But in terms of new opportunities and new entries, I'm not fully convinced with metals or anything yet. I don't like where we're at with price action. I'm chilling. I'm definitely not doing anything with silver. Gold, I'm staying away from for the moment. I know some of you saw this move here with gold. And let me double check that this happened across multiple feeds. Okay, cool. You got to confirm sometimes if you see weird spikes, you got to cross-reference and make sure that everything's actually there and it's not just some weird broker situation. But yeah, gold did give a pretty big spike up here, and that took out a lot of sellers. So the market could come up and reject off of this. This is a possibility. Now, who can tell me what the downsides are, or are there any downsides, any red flags to taking a sell on gold? Is there a reason not to take something like this? What do you guys think? Because silver did do something really similar, where it pumped up and then lost some momentum. Is there a reason not to take something like this? That gold spike was when Powell started talking. Yep. No lower lows. That's a good reason why not to take this. What other reasons could you guys think of? I'm just comparing right now. I'm kind of taking a perspective here with silver and gold. Looks like silver's right under the 38.2. Gold is sitting, where are you sitting? Right under. So they're pretty similar. All right, yeah, these are moving pretty similar to one another. No lagging pair. It's like the same. But yeah, the big thing is, one, guys, I mean, we've been on a bullish rampage. So trading against the overall momentum, not always the best idea. It just might not reverse as strongly as you would want. That's the big reason, one of the big things. 2, yeah, we don't really see a shift in structure. It would only be a 1 minute time frame. A 5 minutes still bullish. It's like the 1 minute's the only bearish thing that we have here. So not my favorite. Could it play out? It could, but not my favorite setup. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's not really worth it overall. All right. So just gonna let metals play out. We have a decent amount of movement this week. So this here is the high impact news for the week. You have CPI for CAD. You have dollar news tomorrow as well. This is an hour before New York Open. So if you guys want to get some rest, be up for that. It's going to be good. NZD does have CPI tomorrow. So we will cover this on the New York session live stream. We'll cover post CAD's CPI. And then we'll get ready for the NZD CPI as well as GBP CPI. So I think it's going to be a fun week. If you guys right now, if you like this session and you are more of the Asian session trader, then make sure you're paying attention to NZD. Make sure you're paying attention to AUD, because there will be news tomorrow evening and Wednesday evening. So stay dialed in there. So if you're a 9 to 5, these are good weeks for you, right? Volatile weeks in the evening. Those of you that are in the U.S. or South America or North America, South America, make it right, nice and easy, so no one feels left behind here. My poor Canadians that feel underrepresented. So cool. We got a lot going on. So what we're gonna do is this. I'm gonna do a quick rundown of. Super quick rundown here of the remaining USD pairs. There's not too much that I think is worth going over, like really nothing at all. Sadly, and I sent this one out to you guys, was oil. Right, we talked about oil. It came right to our zone, but it didn't trigger me in. If anybody here got into US oil, you're welcome. I take donations, but just kidding, guys. Please don't send me anything. Wink. Wink. But the market right now, oil is doing its thing, you know. So liquidity captures, USD JPY, not much going on there. USD CHF, not really. Like I don't really like anything. It's super choppy. You have these spikes. These like we did see this happen here. I think this was if I'm not mistaken, this might have been NFP. No. This was CPI. Yes, CPI. CPI, little spike up, everything crashed. So UJ way down here, and USD CHF a little bit higher in structure. But what we did see was when Powell spoke, we did see USD JPY clear quite a bit of money here. We did see a nice little liquidity capture here. So if we see USD JPY, I mean, we got above the highs. We are seeing higher highs right now. If USD JPY stays bullish, we could have a nice little USD JPY play for a buy. So I'm definitely setting alerts here. This could get interesting. There's dollar news all week. No yen news. Yen doesn't need news. It just sends it whenever it wants. But this could have a very nice risk reward. filling this imbalance, that's what I do like that. So possible setup. Again, I want to see price stay up here for much longer. But if we can hold a bullish structure, then I definitely like USD JPY buys. And I'll probably give myself a little bit of wiggle room with this as well, considering that we have quite a bit of risk reward in our favor. Anyways, that gives us a bit more wiggle room to just take this in balance. But taking this all the way up to here, yeah, that's a 13 risk reward for sure. I am more than down for something like this. Awesome. So all the ideas, guys, that I send, that I'm going over, all the ones that I go over on this public session, so any kind of perspectives that I have, I'm going to send them into my Telegram. So in the description right now, you should see that Telegram link or whatever. Okay. Cool. So UJ looking interesting. Very interesting. Always, again, we want to keep other things in mind because USD CHF looks like a liquidity mess. Wouldn't be surprised if dollar loses momentum, should clear these lows. UCAD. So UCAD's going to have some movement. This will move quite a bit tomorrow. You have the CPI and you have dollar news. So USD CAD will probably be hectic here. So is there something that we can do? Can we get involved in here? And I'm gonna be boring with CAD, and I don't think I'm gonna be doing much here. Looks like liquidity for the most part. We did see this kind of sweep these lows and then, go and work its way higher. So maybe there's another CAD setup that could look good. But USD CAD, I feel like I'm going to end up staying out of. GU, now, GU's been very choppy. Very, 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 very choppy. You guys know this is a extreme amount of liquidity. There's so many buyers here. Oh my goodness. So many buyers, a lot of sellers. We might have the good old sweep of the low to sweep to the high situation. And how do we kind of identify if this is something we want to be involved in? So let's take a look at these pairs that end in USD. So like half of these majors. Right now, if you ask me, we are sitting right above the 50%, in between 38 to 50% pullback. Okay, the buy zone is there, so this could work out. Euro USD, in my opinion, has pulled back a bit more strongly, and it's already played off of these levels. So I think EU is going to target these equal lows. I don't know if this will be the trade that I'll take, but I would love for Euro to sweep these lows to help me kind of narrow down my entry with GBP USD for sure. But I like the 786 setup here. But let's see what else is going on. We've had NZD USD here. We didn't look to take this, rejected it, came up, and then just kept going down. So NZD USD already much more bearish, got to these levels a lot faster. Because this spike down, this is Friday's PPI news, not CPI, but PPI. And so that was already taken care of, where AU already took care of that. NZD USD already did that. Euro looks like it already kind of took care of that. It looks like GU is kind of the only one left that hasn't mitigated that movement. We saw gold already. That's what happened earlier. So yeah, I like GU. GU looks. That's usually not a good sign, yeah? All right, we might have to dip ski. I'm going to call it a stream, guys. Apparently my life is in danger or something. So, you know, we gotta make sure Nance and Maya survive, and also transparently, I think Nance made some fire food that I definitely want to have now. So, anyways, guys, much love. I'll go ahead and I'll share some of these ideas in the Telegram. That's the one that I have open. I think everyone has the right to just some value. You know, make sure you're being positioned to win, to learn, to find out if this is something even for you. And then a lot of you, I mean, you guys are all in the community, you know, being intentionally guided, plugging in day by day, getting feedback and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, keep the work up. Oh my God. All right. Peace, fam. Much love. Stay safe.